This next award goes to a film that needed its own category because it was that good. Best Thriller, The Algerian.
Thank you, Larry, and the Northeast Film Festival. First and foremost, it's a great venue for independent filmmakers like myself to be able to get our movies out there and have them seen by independent fans like all of you. And thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate having our film on the big screen. Great sound, great audience participation, great Q&A. This award goes to our enormous cast and crew. We had over 250 people work on the film on 3 continents over the course of 5 years. And it was a thriller just making the movie, so thank you very much for everyone supporting, and thanks guys for the unique classification, the unique award, so thank you very much.
Harry Lennix. I mean, the man has done The Matrix 2 and 3, Man of Steel, he's on NBC's The Blacklist. He's a face you recognize no matter what. And that is the exact definition of an icon. So, with that being said, we here at the Northeast Film Festival would like to present Mr. Harry Lennix with the Icon Award.
Thank you all for coming out and first, for seeing the film. This is something I'm very proud of. I've been working with Giovanni for several years now, since I think 2008. He asked me to do this. I'm very proud to have been one of the executive producers on it. Thank you, Larry, for your hospitality and for the entire staff here. I met Zach out there and Terry and Colleen, so everybody here has been great. Actually, some years ago, I campaigned in New Jersey for Governor Corzine at the time. Don't hold it against me. Yeah, so this is great. I appreciate it. I know a lot of people are like, who the heck is this guy? But I am an actor who loves film. And so I'm proud to be doing service in films like this, independent movies, because I think it's the way of the future. I think you'll see that you're going to get, it's not just my opinion, very, very big budget movies, some of which I've been in, and the independent film. And I think that is the one that is going to make film safe for true connoisseurs of movie making. And I think Giovanni is one, so thank you for making me a part of it. And I think with that, maybe we're going to do a Q&A or something?
Another paperweight. Technically Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey, I mean.
You left New York about 10 minutes ago.
So. It was raining there. I like it better.
Okay, so we'll begin the Q&A by opening the floor up to questions. Go ahead.
This question is for Mr. Lennix. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the difference between making a film like this and one of those big budget films that you spoke of.
Well, about $200 million.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm quick. I'm here to Thursday. Well, there's a lot. The infrastructure that you see on one of those, for example, the entire crew on the Algerian is probably the craft services department on Man of Steel. I'm actually doing Batman vs. Superman now. Dawn of Justice is called. I think that every day the craft services have to prepare meals for about 400 people. So on something like this, we go out and we get sandwiches. So money, obviously, is the big difference. Time is the other big difference. So when you're working on these things, time is money. Normally you try to get a camera package and these things. You try to work on a weekly rate deal. You try to get you have to account for everything. So really it's a matter of, if you were doing one of these, if you were responsible for the financing of it, the legality of it, the shooting of it, it's a lot more work for an individual who's the spearhead of that. Giovanni, for example, put on many, many, many hats, and that's the big difference. When you're on a big budget movie, you can wear one hat, and when you're on one of these, you have to wear a lot of hats.
Thank you.
There's more heart and soul in any film than that.
Question for Harry. When did you guys begin working together?
Well, I remember We were at
Fox,
right across the road. The first time we talked to each other was outside, across from the Plantations. It was in Hollywood, like all
Yeah.
Hollywood. Remember that?
Yeah, we were shooting something.
Yeah. We were there doing a
I was on the.
club
I was working as a crew member, lighting tech. That's what I've done the last 18 years in Hollywood, and Harry was making all the big bucks as a star. I was like, "Hey man, can you buy me a coffee?" No. So Harry and I started just hanging out and chatting. I found that he spoke fluent Italian, which is pretty amazing. He lived in Rome for a while, so very intelligent man. Picked up the language very quick, and he and I would converse in Italian, and we just developed a friendship. I started working on a short film that I was sketching out, brought it to his attention, and he said he would love to be a part of it. So he plays the lead character in a short that I did just previous to this film. So that's where we started.
And you guys both produced H4.
Yes. After we worked on the interview, which was Giovanni's movie, I saw how dedicated and diligent and hard-working. I mean, we shot a movie in like 13 hours out in the middle of the desert on a lake bed, on like a bed of frozen over lake bed or something.
Yeah.
And out in a prison town in California, I can't remember the name of the town.
It's I can't remember. It's a dry lake bed that they do land speed records on, out like far deep out in the desert. It's like 3 hours from Los Angeles.
Yeah, something like Folsom, but not Folsom. But anyway, we went out, and when I saw him, I knew that he was the person that could bring a small budget movie with just a lot of people with a great amount of heart, doing something that had never been done. In the case of H4, it's the first black Shakespeare film ever done, ever, to my knowledge, using Shakespeare's language. It's a stunning kind of fact, and we don't make a big deal out of it. We just are trying to do good Shakespeare. But Giovanni put together the contracts, he put together the crew, and he did a wonderful, wonderful job. We're almost home on it. We're actually doing the last little bit of it now. So that was the first and second time, and we wanted to do this a lot more.
Yeah, and in Algerian, he came on as an actor and as a producer on it, and was able to bring his expertise and help guide the ship when it needed guiding, and brought some very talented actors to the film as well. So Harry and I spent a lot of evenings over cigars and scotch at his place, just figuring out better ways to make both films, H4 and Algerian, tighten up, polish up, and get them ready for distribution, which is where we're at with both of them at this point. So there's other films in the works that we'll be working together on, and we're excited about that. So one step at a time. The question for everyone to hear, the question was, when an actor of Harry's caliber, someone who's very experienced, has done many films, et cetera, is working with an actor who has very little or no experience, does it affect him and his performance, and how so?
Yeah, so my response is that it depends on the elements, depends on the ingredients. So some actors might get frustrated with that and demand X, Y, and Z thing. To me, an artist's job is to work in the environment that he or she finds herself in. And so that is to say, if LeBron James is on the floor with somebody who's never been in an NBA final, he's going to make adjustments to his game. He's going to make sure they get the ball, or he'll make sure that they don't get the ball. I think as a veteran actor and a former school teacher, part of the whole joy of the arts is to bring people along who are new to it, because they're going to bring an energy and a love and a passion and an energy that is that can be directed by an experienced hand. And that's one of the reasons the casting is about 90% to me of the job. If you can get a team of actors together, you can forget about all the new bells and whistles and toys that people have. You can just let those actors with the director act, and you can figure out exactly what story you want to tell and all those things. So that's part of the job, is to bring people along, and I try to make that seem seamless no matter who I'm working with. So if I'm working with Dame Helen Mirren, and her response to me might be what my response is to a new actor, because everybody's at different levels in their experience and their career. So I mean, it would be very judgmental of me to look askance at a new person because we're all at different stages.
A good point that he made is casting. Casting is critical. You can take a great, top-class, top-notch actor and put him in the wrong role, or her in the wrong role, and they will just fall flat on their face. you can also edit a great performance into a poor performance, which is another nightmare that most actors fear. As an editor, I'm like, well, I get to make this great. In our particular case, we spent a tremendous amount of time because we had 37 speaking parts in the film, which for an independent film, that's a lot. Even for a big feature, it's a lot. But for an indie film, having so many different moving parts, so many different characters, finding the right actors for each one is really, really important, especially because we had a diverse group of actors with different backgrounds and a skill set that was from very, very high, like Harry's, to other people that were just coming in the game, or we used a few people who had never acted before, and they needed to, it was for a specific reason that we used them in Algeria, that we didn't have actually access to actors, so we had to find the right guy that looked the right part and could actually jump to the hoops and do a great job and be very, very authentic. So in the dynamic of going from zero experience to thoroughbred, we have to make those adjustments in casting and balance everyone out.
Let me also, if I may, just very quickly, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time is Vittorio De Sica, and he made movies in the neoclassical style where the actors never acted before. If you look at the Lato di Biciclette, The Bicycle Thief is a fantastic film. Those guys never acted before.
Yeah, and they're amazing.
You know, and it happens all the time. I mean, I think the guy, one of my favorites is Bronx Tale. It's another one. The kid that played Cosmo.
Had never
acted before,
yeah.
you know, so these kinds of things. Everybody's got to start someplace. My girl, Tatum O'Neal, who I did a movie with.
Yeah.
Her first movie, I think, is Paper Moon.
Wow.
Against the Academy Awards, still as a record. So.
That's pretty cool. Any questions about the politics of the film, about the structure?
I have a question. For you, Giovanni, when you were writing the script, did you expect it to parallel any of the current events? For example, what's happening
So the question is, when we were developing the screenplay, if we thought it would, or parallel the film onto current events. When you're making a film in post 9/11 that deals with terrorism, you've got a pretty good chance of having current events pop up, hopefully not hopefully, but concurrent with your film coming out so that it makes it relevant and timely. So we didn't plan on it. Our film was more of a response to 9/11 and the giant question of what if this happens again? How would it occur? Would it be sleeper cells? So when Ben Youssef and myself started developing the story, before I wrote the screenplay, he and I spent a lot of time looking at the Soviet Union, Cold War books and characters that were living in the 50s and 60s and 70s in the United States as sleeper cells. And we focused on that a lot, as well as the terrorists that were involved in 9/11 and in other areas of the world that they were picked up and what they were doing while they were waiting to do the job. So we took a lot of that information and kind of balled it all together to create our characters. We were not expecting the Arab Spring to occur. We started shooting the film while the Arab Spring popped. So we had to quickly change dialogue in the film to make it relevant to the Arab Spring. So that was one challenge we weren't expecting. The father character in the initial screenplay before the Arab Spring took place was trying to do something like light the fuse and create a domino effect that would cause an Arab Spring, cause revolutions throughout the Middle East. So while we were shooting, it started happening, and we were like, wow, we had a crystal ball. So we had to go back and restructure the scenes that hadn't been shot yet to make them fit into the Arab Spring as something that was started, and that this father character, the head of the terrorist, was trying to create something. That was just the beginning. He was going to create something much, much bigger and bolder to get the United States and the West out of Middle Eastern countries. So
life imitates art all the time.
Yeah, life and art.
It was funny because I was just going to ask you, did you do rewrites? Because I remember when you started filming this, and there was no such word as Arab Spring.
Correct,
in
yeah.
2008. That was a term that popped up in 2010, 11, and then you just completely answered the question.
The basis of the film is the base of the story, the core structure. It's a film about ethics. It's like a Greek tragedy. So the core is a morality play, a character who is torn between two worlds. His ethical compass is off, and it's his journey in the film to go from a child who sees his parents blown up and an orphan who is trying to attach himself into some sort of answer as to why, and he gets brought into a group of fundamental radicals that are on the wrong path as freedom fighters. He joins that, and as he goes to the United States and he goes to attack the very thing that he was taught to hate, he learns that he learns that the people that he went to kill are not what he perceived them to be. So you start having this story of coexistence and tolerance, and he gets deprogrammed along the way. So that's really the core of the story, and the politics that revolve around it as they shifted and changed fed into that equation, but it's still a story about a guy who falls in love with a girl and decides not to do a bad thing because he had a change of heart. So that's the core message we have is a story of coexistence to show that the Muslim religion is not a negative thing. Muslim people are good 99.99%, and that a few radicals shouldn't make everyone bad. So further answers the question.
How long did it take you?
We started 5 years. Took 1 year of pre-production. I think Harry and I were discussing. I came to Harry with the job. I was like, Harry, I've got this character. I'd really like you to play it. I haven't written the screenplay yet, but this is the nuts and bolts of it. And that was about five years ago and change. Spent a year in prep and developing the screenplay. And then we went into, once the screenplay was completed, we started looking for actors to play the parts, and then revamped the dialogue and the cadence of each character to fit the actors. So I knew Harry was going to play that part. I know Harry well, so I was able to write how I felt Harry would say those things within the context of his character. So it was a lot easier instead of writing a script and then putting the major characters, funny actors, because you always, a screenplay is a blueprint that it's a piece of clay, you want to work with it. And as a director, I'm very, very malleable in having the actors make it their own. I'm always like, you can change all the dialogue you want, just don't change the meaning. So long as it comes from your heart and it's natural, then I'll keep it. If you change the meaning, then I'll stop you. So that was the process we used. And then 2 years to shoot it. We shot on 2 continents. We worked in post-production on a 3rd continent. We shot in 10 cities. There was 257 people that were involved in making the film, and 2 years of post-production. So 5 years total, nuts and bolts. And here we are in New Jersey, Northeast Film Festival. So thank you, Larry, for having us, by the way.
Thank you. No, I mean, I thought the film was fantastic. I thought it was very well made. I will tell you, as running the festival, I mean, I screened 562 films for this festival. Every film that comes in, I watch.
Bravo to you.
Yeah,
You're one of the few.
Yeah. So, and we had room for, well, we really had room for 30. We squeezed 40 films into the lineup out of 562. And, I mean, we're very, very strict about what we take in. I tell the screeners, reject everything unless it's too good to reject. And this is one of those films that really just popped out.
Great, thank you, Will. We're honored to be here, so really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
And I'm honored to.